Let's get into a Modern League with this Izzet deck I've been messing with. It might look kind of familiar. We've tried these Izzet energy shells previously. I do just really like running this general package of Steel Cutter, Unstable Amulet, Expressive Iteration, backed up by some counter magic. It feels really good. It feels low to the ground. Steel Cutter, like this, I think gives you the grind ability to power through stuff like Quantum Energy, stuff like Boros, stuff like Blink. There is less Boros, and like I think that one big extent these counterspell Izzet decks have a big problem because Flage is just so difficult for your deck to deal with game one, and you don't really want to have to main deck these like dopey graveyard hate cards. But I think with less Boros, you can kind of relegate this stuff to the sideboard, and also sometimes you're just able to like Cori-Steel Cutter them to death. Steel Cutter is so good against Boros too. But I've really liked the shell. I think that, of course, also just being able to play like a lower to the ground counterspell deck has felt really good. And I'll say that when you compare this deck to Dimir Frog or Dimir Oculus, the fact that your deck is really much more resilient to removal because you get access to Cori-Steel Cutter and you have access to like a lot of spell-based 2-for-1s, so you can compete with the Blink/Glorious decks that are just drawing so many cards, I think is a very big deal too. I think that the big problem with the Frog builds are that they just like if creature removal is so online, it's hard for them to get ahead on cards, and they're like I think because of that a big dog to the Blink stuff. I think the format's a bit fast, maybe. What's wrong with Houston car rentals? Well, just if you're not used to navigating those kind of highways, I would just get Ubers. It is I think a lot of very crazy drivers, crazy traffic, unintuitive highways. I think it's a problem if you have to rely on cards to get around. Yes. Welcome to Texas. I think you convinced me to fly to Houston, DC. Yeah, like I think I usually do drive there from Dallas, but maybe I'll just fly next time. Okay, their top card is a Sacred Foundry. Just as I say, Boros is on the downswing. Maybe it's back on the upswing some. They have a Voice of Victory, which is really annoying here. I have Heat instead of Discharge, so I can't quite kill this. I guess I could go Tune the Narrative plus Heat this turn. I don't exactly love the idea of playing both of my 1-drops and then having Cori-Steel Cutter in my hand, so I think I'm just going to play the Steel Cutter this turn. Isn't there a train from Dallas to Houston? No. No, there's not. On the Amulet conversation, we were at RC Houston, and came to the conclusion the best ban would be Spelunking. It gets rid of the consistency with Consign, Prismatic Ending, Wrath, and other cards. Amulet is easier to interact with, but Spelunking is soon awkward to deal with. There's a lot of time. The thing is, banning Spelunking instead of Amulet, and again, I don't like that we've already devolved back into this, but I'll entertain it for a second. Is like the problem with banning Spelunking is it's so similar to banning all of the good things to cast off Mishra's Workshop in Vintage instead of just banning Mishra's Workshop. Like I think it is almost never the right move to just ban the worst card because and like I even just kind of disagree with like a lot of the arguments here. Like I think one of the biggest problems with Amulet is that it kills on turn 3 and the good sideboard cards are 3 mana against it. And so if you leave Spelunking, all of a sudden the sideboard cards get a lot more effective against the archetype. And Spelunking, yes, can still exist and give a lot of resiliency. It can still exist and give a lot of resiliency, but I think that's more of a feature than a bug. But I just think it's almost never right to ban the less powerful card. I think that it just... I can't think of a time where it really made a lot of sense to ban the worst card. But maybe I'm misremembering something. Okay, so probably want to hold up counter magic for Flage this next turn and not talk about Amulet all day. We could try to get a double spell off by heating on their turn as well. We could also go DRC plus heat on our turn and get the double spell off now. Seems fine. They might double ping the monk token in response, but I think that would be okay. They should ban Analyst, that's a real powerhouse. Banning Analyst is interesting. You don't have as good loops with Lumra, but like, I don't know. To me, it just feels like people really want to do everything but ban the actually really, really busted card. But that's okay. Again, I'm done talking about it for today. Please don't respond because I'm going to get stun locked. You know I can't help myself. I think we graveyarded another channeler here. I do I do appreciate the fervent discussion, but oh right, sorry. Yeah, I just I shouldn't have moved the I guess if I didn't move it then they could have killed the other one. What would happen for you to play Legacy, getting rid of the reserve list? I played a ton of Legacy in my time. There was a time where I considered myself to be like exclusively a Legacy grinder. I played Legacy at PT Minneapolis. I like Legacy, but the thing with me not playing Legacy on stream is not that I don't enjoy the format. The thing is like I can only really play things on stream that I've been working on. To get to the level to where you are capable of effectively brewing in a format, the amount of time that takes, it's like you really just have to play a format full time to get to the point, in my experience, where you can actually brew effectively on stream. And what's interesting to me about streaming is the ability to share my ideas, to come up with new stuff, to bounce stuff off you guys, and work on stuff together. That's always been what's been interesting to me about streaming. And so it's not something I'm very interested in to just play a format because I like it. I've never been particularly interested in the stream becoming, Spike just plays this because it's, what he feels like playing today. That might be fine, but I think the quality of the stream would get diminished. And I also think my interest would get diminished by that too. Do you think I need to get aggressive here? Definitely going to keep this iteration. Just going to send in with the squad. So if Legacy was ever the format I was just the most interested in, that's what it would get to for me to be streaming it. So it's going to be tough for them to escape the Flays. They're 2 cards away, and they usually have cut the 3rd Surveil land. They would need something like Discharge plus Fetch land. But we might even be beating a Flage Escape here. Might be dead to some combinations of like a Johnny or something. Yeah, no, I should have had the first Monk's Prowess trigger resolve first. There are 2 matches still in progress in the challenge. Dashing a Ragavan. Thank you, Waterfalls. So, yeah, the Ragavan does let them escape the Flage. So they can hit me for 3 down to 8, sack 2 down to 6, flage me, and then they could flage me down to 2. But I think it's not enough. They hit the Expressive Iteration off the Ragavan, which is kind of scary. If they iteration, they can't flage, so they're going to think a little bit about this. It's going to be kind of close. Did I propose with the Wedding Ring Magic card? When I proposed, it was after PT Barcelona, and then we did this like European vacation afterwards. But that was like PT Lord of the Rings, so there was a lot of jokes about proposing with the One Ring. Am I dead if Ocelot Pride is our last card? I don't think so. I think I go to 1. Right? Because right now I'm basically at 3, and then a Pride is worth... No, Pride is worth 3. Okay, I'm dead if the last card's Ocelot Pride. But instead they go after my creatures here. So I have lost my iteration. Could be dealing some damage with the amulet. Let's go ahead and tap this one here. There's another copy of iteration. So if I play this amulet and then I play this iteration, then I deal them 2 damage down to 2. However, they can do some clever sacrificing here. I don't think that's that scary because I've got 2 more tokens coming in. I was sad not to see New Star. So yeah, I would have liked to have gone. Of course. Too many priorities. Next year I'm back. Okay. I guess we go cast Amulet, cast Discharge on the Flage. But they're dead. Winning game 1 against Boros is nice, even through a Flage. So the main thing you want, or not the main thing, but you want the Graveyard Hate, you want the Fire Magics. You want to cut the Ragavans, and then I have been not very happy having a bunch of counterspells against the Voice of Victory deck. I think going down to like 2 is okay. And then you could trim like a Bauble or a Tune. I think I want to take the Bauble down. I think the energy with the amulets is just too important. Yeah, I'll definitely be at the well, you know, hopefully life is good enough that I'll be there, but I'll be there Lord willing at the Spotlight Dallas. And then I want to be trying to go to the RCs this next season, doing actual RC grinding, doing some traveling. Next year, hopefully big year. Hopefully, first draft of the novel is done at the very least, if not the final thing. Hopefully, we can release some stuff about the game next year. Just really optimistic for 2026. Despite playing standard, I've played a lot of standard on for tournaments the last couple of years. Do you have a humans list that's the common version? Yeah, you should be able to dig in the Mox field, unless I don't think I've been erasing the files each time. Weird they didn't surveil. So they boarded in Blood Moon, did they? Why would they board in Blood Moon against me? They might just have made a mistake. When is Spotlight Dallas? It's in fall, I think, next year. I don't think it's anytime soon. So I'm glad we're down on the counter spells, although we're still getting Voice of Victory here. Let's go and cast a Steel Cutter. Did you forget to register Murktides? I don't think Murktide's particularly mandatory here. I've played like one Murktide in the past of these builds, and it's felt okay, but it's felt kind of unnecessary. So they got a Purge for my Steel Cutter. I got another one where that came from, though. I wonder if it's better to have left the Tamiyo back to soak up a damage. I think with me fetch shocking this turn, I'm probably going to take that choice. Although round 2 of the challenge is starting. I would kind of hate to scoop to Boros while we're up a game, so probably try to like play on the second monitor for a bit. Yeah, we've had a few Steel Cutter Rottenmouth Viper lists. And in fact, we were doing that before Edge of Eternity. Wait, they Graveyard Goblin Bombardment? There's no way they do that unless they have another one in their hand. That's like the best possible card here, so that's bad. Yeah, we're 1-0 in the challenge. 1 minute till round 2 starting. I think I block like this. They ping me, not too surprising. I stay at 10 because we get the block with the Tamiyo. Looking for a Galvanic Discharge, or maybe Delirium for Alright, I think my hand is so bad against this. I'm just gonna go to game 3 and then play most of game 3 on the second monitor. Is today a day you wish to not talk about bans on bans? Yeah, I think we've already talked too much about them today. I think that I'm down. Although I don't even really know that it's particularly ever interesting to talk about this stuff, but I think maybe on Friday would be a good time, since there's going to be a ban announcement coming out. It might be a good time to talk about expectations and stuff. Oh wait, we could flip Tamiyo for 0 mana. It's great on the play against Boros. Round 2 of the challenge just started. Let me see if our opponent's here. They are. Wait, they might not be here, but we won the die roll. And I've got a good 7-card hand on the play. We're gonna keep, and then come back when our opponent's here. Oh, they are. It looks like they are here. So I'm going to go and put this on the second monitor. And then we're going to go Courtyard on Human, play an Aether Vial. My opponent, unfortunately, has the Galvanic Discharge for the Tamiyo, so no easily mode over there. My Magic Online is stuck. Magic Online has been freezing a lot more for me lately. I guess we're going to restart. All right. So we're up against, it says they were last playing Izzet Prowess. Looks like they're on an Izzet Prowess start. Thank you, Fisher. All right. Try to get this on the other monitor again. Oh, I love when the Prowess gamer leads on Preordain. All right, so taking up the Aether Vial. Leading on Sorin. On the other monitor, I cast Unstable Amulet turn 2. My opponent, with no turn 2 creature, it's very lucky for me. Let's lead on Vialing in the Satoro. Then I'm going to Warp Halia. Gain 1 life. I think I'm actually just going to extort this turn. Oh, sorry. I mistap this every single time. It's I got to scroll all the way down to get to this ability to tap for just a white mana. Then I'm going to attack with the Sorin and then try to flip it. And I'm a little bit unsure. Maybe I just want to plus the Sorin. Yeah, I don't think dealing them 4 is going to be that good. I think we'll just plus the Sorin. Draw a card. I'm kind of assuming they're going to bolt something here. I don't really know how their hand is like this nothing. I've never ultimated a Sorin, I think. No, I as soon as I said that, I felt that in my heart that wasn't true. I felt in my heart that I have ultimated a Sorin before. So they go turn 3 iteration, and what might be the worst Prowess draw I've seen, just keeping a lot of cantrips and not able to do anything with them. They do find a bolt for my Satoro. I'm going to start off by vialing in a Reki. Then I'm going to warp another Halia. Draw a card. Basim, draw a card, gain a life. Draw 2 cards, gain a life. Okay, can't do anything else this turn. Oh wait, sorry. Forgot to activate the Sorin. Classic double Q, I guess. I guess let's just pull up this double Q game real quick, because we are winning. I'm gonna start off. I think I just get to go. Unholy Heat the Voice of Victory, then. I guess I kicked the Fire Magic first. Oh, I should have kicked the Fire Magic first. Now I'm gonna just have my other token die. Classic double Q. So apologize to my opponent. Only down 30 seconds on the clock, so hard to feel too upset. Then let's go back over to the challenge. We're drawing a card off the Halia. My opponent over here is dashing Ragavan. Making everything a nightmare for Gloom to edit. Gotta keep him on his toes. Gloom said that he's been stockpiling some content for the honeymoon break, which has been nice. Okay, Ragavan flipped a Steam Vents over there. My opponent, I don't know, I guess I could die. I mean, I'm at 29, but they could have Slickshot Show Off plus Violent Urge. Okay, love that they're leading on the Channeler. Let our opponent play over there. I'm about to win this second game. I drew another Steel Cutter off the Amulet tap. I'm casting Expressive Iteration. They're at 10. I've got 3 tokens. They do have a Discharge. That's okay. Uh-oh, there's a Slickshot Show Off. And it has Double Strike. Fuck. There's a Mutagenic Growth. Am I dead? I don't know. I don't know if they've counted. Maybe they're looking for Lava Darts for lethal. This is right now 10 power Double Strike. 14 power Double Strike. That's 1 short. Unless I miscounted, which I might have. That's 1 short. Woo! No Lava Dart surveilled. So I could maybe steal that with Sorin, although I think they're just going to die to my Sorin minus. It seems like I also just maybe made a big mistake this game by not... I just did it minus the Sorin twice, just like stop them from having the life to do this Mutagenic Growth turn. But I've got plenty of gas in the tank. They're super dead to the Sorin minus. Plus the Basim attack. Don't need to even extort anything. Surviving at 1. It's going to be a good day today. Alright, kill ya. Go to game 2. Or sideboarding for game 2. Let me maybe finish this real quick. I guess they could have a Wrath Disguise. Don't know if they would have boarded that in. Okay, so on the draw against Prowess, I think I'm interested in Jarinas. Lavinia is kind of fun if they warp us. I guess they're just never going to warp Show Off in this matchup. Does this matchup completely revolve around Show Off? It might. Lavinia also stops Lava Dart Flashback, Bauble, and Mutagenic Growth, which is a pretty good range of stuff. Pretty good range. I think I'm interested in cutting a Vial, cutting a Reki, maybe cutting a Relic, and then playing the third Lavinia. Alright, so I'm going to submit that. Uh-oh, my opponent just Ragavan into Expressive Iteration over here. I think they're still pretty cooked. I guess I could just draw nothing. Seems like maintaining clear communication with the other leads to better practices. Who knew? Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty hands off with Gloom. He's just really good and very proactive and manages things well. I don't really have a lot of notes for him usually. Just usually does a great job. Would it be better to show him less cards using the foods to kill him? Maybe. Because there doesn't seem like there's much reason to not do that. My opponent's down to 2. They're just dead to 1 prowess trigger here. I could snare, sure, whatever. Okay, so we're 1-0 in the league. Sorry about the double Q. Didn't think it'd be that bad. All right, 1-0 in this league. We Boros Energy. in the double queue. Yeah, Arbaz also got some games. OBC Soul Trader feels great. Good. All right, let's see what card they kept on top with the Devourer. K return. So I got to prioritize getting this Delirious, I guess. Oh, sorry, the trigger didn't resolve yet. Sorry about that. I missed the Toro Grief Nightmare. Yeah, Grief Nightmare was so fun. Okay, my opponent was looking for a land, and they did keep a card on top. I don't really know what that could have been. Hand, bottom, exile. Still no instant in the yard for Delirium. Let's see if they're drawing a land. Nope, an Ulamog. So I guess the Izzet Talisman, and we were locked in on them being through the breach here. Good to know. What do you think about Neobrand? Okay, so they misclicked or something because we know they did not just draw a land. We know that. Yeah, I think with the Steel Cutter we're keeping this. Could have discharged the Channeler. I don't know if that was necessarily the move. Okay, I want to keep that to keep the cards coming. I think we're just going to dash the Ragavan here. Hold up a mana. Or get an extra mana for next turn. I think Neobrand's probably okay. I think it was, not a very good choice for the Pro Tour because it's particularly bad against Belcher. Belcher has had a big fall off since the Pro Tour, so I would imagine that it's even more than okay. Maybe even just a pretty good choice. It's also Titan was the most popular deck at the RC. Neoform is really good against Titan. It's just one of two decks that's consistently faster. Okay, that's not a great hit. I think I'm still going to play this Amulet. I'm playing a Grixis, Carnage, Reanimator, and Historic, having a lot of fun. Cool. I'm trying FOMO instead of the Pyros, pushing for Mythic one of these days. Nice. You'll get there. All right, we've got 8 damage here. We do technically have lethal with Ragavan plus the Discharge. The thing is, my opponent is pretty likely to K command, right? Maybe not. They haven't K commanded yet. So here's the K command. They're making 3 spawns and they're scry drawing. They have a Talisman of Impulse. Maybe no. I mean, Ulamog is breach, not ported. I mean, the island is. Like I said, I don't know why it's throwing me off so much. I've just been getting ported too much lately, I guess. Probably will discharge a spawn token here. Let me think about it some more. So if I discharge a spawn token, then this is 7 power plus 5. So that is lethal. It forces another block here. Do we think that they are ever... They do put 1 card on top. Do we think they're ever going to say no blocks? I don't think they're ever going to say no blocks because I ended up thinking too long about it. So I think we're just going to force them to be -2 spawn tokens. Don't think it's likely going to matter very much. So Bakira here, they decided to go for the more... Oh, they block both. All right, so do they just have red source through the breach? It would be Annihilator 7, but the Ulamog, I guess, would have 17 power and it would kill me. Wait, is that... No, Ulamog would have 14 power. So I'm not dead to Through the Breach Ulamog. I'm not dead to Through the Breach Emrakul. That's good. What's the reason to do before blocks? They have 1 less thing to block with against my ground creatures. But I guess they wouldn't. That didn't really matter, I guess, because I had the Trampler. It didn't seem like it would be very likely they do much different. All right, up a game. Gonna bring in the Consigns. Don't think about the Blood Moons against this build. I think I'm gonna play either. I mean, Meltdown X equals 2 is not that good against them because, or with our deck, because we've got a lot of 2-mana artifacts too. Sir, I could see bringing in a Surgical just because these removal spells suck. Then 1 Blood Moon. Usually you like a little bit more removal against these Eldrazi builds, but against the Through the Breach version, the removal is just so dead. Alright, keep this. Opponent is on a mold of 5 already, and still thinking. So they are Teamer. Above average top deck. I think we should play the Ragavan turn 1, although it is good to snare like a Rumble or a Talisman here. Maybe I think they have Rumble if they have green. Maybe it's like something weird. K-Command? K-Command would be good here. He said on every turn of every Magic the Gathering game until the end of time. Thankfully it wasn't a K-Command. Alright. Now we're sure. So it's pretty important to stay above 15 so that you can just consign the Emrakul Annihilator trigger, but I don't know if we're going to have the luxury of staying above 15 here. Seems like it would be maybe even extra important because they've got the Mistrized Village to stop me from counterspelling it through the breach. But we also have got a pretty aggressive draw here. Can just get them dead before they can do that. Hopefully. So let's go hand, bottom, exile. Again, gonna just try not to sacrifice the Scalding Tarn. But it might be good too. I might just get Delirium with it. I'd be able to like get Delirium on this second main phase and leave it back to block Emrakul. Alright, let's trade Ragavan for a hasty token. I've made it through the Breach deck recently. Kind of recently. There's a 6-mana Through the Breach from Edge of Eternities that went kind of under the radar. So we played a league with that card. I think that card was pretty good. Like it's stronger than Through the Breach, but it's just because it sacrifices the creature end of turn to deal damage to all the other creatures. So if your Through the Breach Emrakul isn't enough to kill them, it'll at least wipe the board. And then it is 1 more mana. It's called Terminal Velocity. Alright, so let's go ahead and consign sacking the treasure so that if they threw the Breach Emrakul, we could just maybe sack enough permanents to live. Okay, and so we'll just get Delirium here without having to crack our fetch too. So down to 4 life points. Delirious Channelers also mean K-Return is not going to be a card that saves them. We beat Through the Breach Emrakul. Through the Breach Ulamog is only Annihilator 5, so it should be pretty good here. Terminal Velocity Emrakul, not that it would be possible to cast this turn because it's double red, but this would be an example of a board where that card would save them. All right, going through the motions here. I made a really out there Breach deck with that. So you have this mana base, so you can play Blood Moon on the side. It's kind of interesting. Looks fun. Okay, so we're 2-0 in the league. We're 1-1 in the challenge. Keep this a little bit. I've been liking this as a deck. I think that these strategies are pretty underexplored. Maybe not the flashiest, but I think it's a good time. I do have a very flashy deck in the Mox field that I'm gonna really try to save for tomorrow, but I think I wanted to tease a little bit today, and then if somehow we just crumble two decks, we would. Main deck Vexing Bauble in Eldrazi is cool. So I guess not much point to Fisher a Bauble into the Vexing Bauble. Yeah, I didn't see the Izzet control deck that did well at Houston. Was there a Breach deck that did well? Goodbye, sweet Tamiyo. Steam Vents. I think I'm going to play 2 Channelers instead of sacking a Clue here. Fetching Island a bit dubious. I don't know. My opponent could play Thought Seers and Flush Rakers, and I might care about my life total. I think it was fine. Cavern on Eldrazi into a Talisman. Very weird. Let's go ahead and run this out for just the Surveil 2. Try to get Delirium. I do really want to draw this card, so let's go and keep this on top and then draw it, and then just get the other Surveil. So graveyard this for Delirium. I think I keep that on top. So not quite getting Delirium. Would have had Delirium if I graveyarded the Counterspell. Let's keep that in mind for the remainder of this game, I guess. We could have cashed in an Unholy Heat, I guess, to get Delirium too. But with my opponent naming Eldrazi at the Cavern, I think I want to hold these. If we talk good, Houston win rate Simic Ritual at 61%. That's awesome. Simic Ritual is one of the decks that I think has like the potential to just be super strong, like big player in Modern, but is held back by Boros. All right, so they're gonna Null Drifter. I think it's worth getting Delirium. Yeah, it's good feedback. It looks like we're maybe gonna get rewarded though. I'm gonna lead on the Amulet, which is maybe a little greedy, but I think that this is just gonna give me the best chance of getting Delirium plus land, which is what I want, and that is what we did get that. You know, sometimes you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you might just find you get what you need. Could you run Ice Till, Ghost Quarter, and Simic Ritual? You could. It's a little bit weird though when you're like ritualing. Like you don't want to ritual your Oculus as a way to get a Ice Till Explorer, and when you get an Ice Till Explorer off your ritual, then it's not particularly productive for you to have an Ice Till off your ritual into turn because you can't use it. So it doesn't exactly seem like intuitively it works that well. So passing with K command up probably. So hopefully they let this resolve before they cast this K command, because then the counterspell can trigger the Steel Cutter. No Bauble, no. I don't know what you're. We have the card Mishra's Bauble in the deck. There's a Vexing Bauble in play. We might be getting Mistrise Villaged here. Simic is also bad against Prowess. That's true, but I think it's like pretty good against like stuff like Goryo's and Titan, and it's okay against Eldrazi. Well, that looks pretty counterable to me. Weird that they left up the Scalding Tarn, but they didn't activate the Mistrise Village. I disagree with these Breach players. Village should absolutely be Besager Endurance. I agree that the card is way better to make stuff uncounterable. I also think you could like kind of easily sideboard them. Maybe it depends on if you're playing the Myco Spawn. I'm assuming that this deck did kind of well over the weekend. Also, notably, that damage we missed earlier, they could be dead, and we could have -1 heat plus 4 damage here, which seems like that might have been a good trade. Looks like I do survive through the breach on either Big Eldrazi again, which is good news. Might want to upkeep Surveil. I'm just gonna get upkeep stop here. Not too often you cast 3k commands and you're this far behind. Although I guess it helps when one of them gets countered. One on top, 4 on the bottom. Do you remember my Naya aggro almost 1-drop stack from a year ago or a little more? That was when Lurrus was legal, when I played Naya 1-drops, I'm pretty sure. And Lurrus was banned like 3 years ago. You played a version with Guide Pride. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of a different one. We've played so many different Guide Pride decks that it's like I don't remember. Alright, well I'm at 16. This is attacking for 15. Not a sweet 16, but a quinceañera. Weird to run into through the breach in a row. I guess it did well over the weekend or something. But these removal spells pretty bad against them. Sideboard the same way. Honestly, maybe Second Blood Moon's better because they've got like the Teamer mana base. Let's try that. Have we ever played with the Image 3 Emrakul Madness? Yes. As always, if you're interested in seeing if I've ever played with the card, I recommend checking out our sponsor box field. You can just open my profile, search up a card, and find it. But yeah, we have played that card a few times. I don't think it's super well positioned at the moment, its effects, because of all the combo, but to play that card, you have to have a mana base that's all colorless stuff, and you have to have discard outlets, which is usually like Cookbook or Saga for Cookbook. Might be a little bit underplayed still. Yeah, let's keep this on the draw. We're 1-1 in the challenge at the moment. What did we play against round 1? We played against we lost. We beat Affinity round 1. We lost to Prowess round 2. So my opponent's on the play with double Devourer. They say no to a Temple. They say no to a K command, which is always interesting. They go Labby Wabby and no Talisman. You will live, Ragavan the Nimble Pilferer. You're going to live. Too soon to say goodbye. Yes, aspiring Spike, forbid me now to die. I'll obey. I will try. All right, no misres village this game. Thank you for the snipe, Ragavan. Interesting. I don't think I want to tap land. See if I have a regular land on top. We don't, so we'll just pass with the mana up. I think I'm going to consign the draw 2 here. Like, the fact that they didn't lead on the falls into this on turn 2, this is their turn 3, really signifies a lot of weakness. So, stopping the draw 2 when their hand is potentially pretty weak seems good to me. So I'm going to go 1-drop, then hold up Counterspell. Is that 1-drop going to be Tamiyo, or is it going to be Tune? I think that the Tamiyo is probably better to play pre-Tune, since then maybe I can flip the Tamiyo and bring back the Consign. So probably holding up a K command. Well, can't say no to that one. It might be going like through the breach end of turn. If they go for through the breach end of turn, we probably just let it resolve because it could easily be bait. We could just consign the Annihilator trigger anyways. Round 3 of the challenge is about to start. I think we might be wrapping this one up right on. Yeah, I think this could just easily be bait, and if it's not bait, we're still doing pretty good. Yeah. I'm just gonna not replicate the consign so we can keep the counterspell up. Delirium. I'm down to 2. Been here before. They play a mountain, 2 cards in their hand. Talisman. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they would need a land. I don't think I was supposed to counterspell this, but the Devour is, looking pretty online. I think I'm just going to go Iteration plus Channeler this turn, try to hit a land drop, but if I don't, that's okay. Okay, they concede. So we are 3-0 in this league. Let's go and get a trophy prediction going for the league, but we're about to go over to round 3 of the challenge. Do they even play main board Grapeshot? Sometimes and sometimes not. I know it's not exactly the answer to your question. I'm going to lead on the Surveil land. I don't think it matters that much to get like a Tamiyo clue. Might be blanking turn 1 removal, and then I can decide if I want to play my 1-drops or if I want to cast Hold Up Counterspell. Although now I've drawn another untapped land. So I guess we'll go ahead and play the Tamiyo. Yeah, I think naming Wish would have been the best move off the Meddling Mage. Alright, so we got Lightning Bolted, so maybe this is Prowess again. A lot of Prowess today. I guess only a second today. There's a lot of Prowess in general. Second basic mountain. Could be something else. Like, Prowess usually only plays 3 basic mountains. Could be like a more mono-red version. Could be kind of anything else. Not sure. Maybe they just drew their mountains. Yeah, we lost the Storm, sadly. Okay, so I'm taking 3 down to 17. They've cracked their Bauble. We could be a little bit worried about a mutagenic growth, but we could also maybe even find Delirium off this channeler to block if they do have the mutagenic growth to counter, and we could store 3 energy for later. So we do get Delirium, which is great. Yeah, we won to drop the challenge, sadly. Beat Affinity, lost to Prowess, and lost to Storm. Not a fan of Meddling Mage for that reason. It's just our only option against Titan. This is the thing about Titans. It forces you to play cards that are kind of your only choice for decks, and it's not that effective of a choice a lot of the time. Alright, I think we need to find removal more so than hold up the counter magic here. I'm going to keep untapped land available. Nice. So let's go hand, bottom, exile. Play this, attack first. I don't think my opponent's very likely to block mutagenic growth, but they might. And then, yeah, I guess there's not much reason to main phase the discharge because we have 3 energy stored. Even if my opponent has 2 more mutagenic growths, we can still kill the show off. So they would have to have 3 mutagenic growths here, and they've already played 1. They keep a card on top. They exile Swifty. So this is them attacking me for 7. If I fetch Bolt Shock down to 11, then I take 4, then I'm down to 7. So I don't really like that I can't keep this and double spell with it. This Thundering Falls is a thorn in our side here. It seems like my opponent does have a mutagenic growth also. 2 cards in their hand. Alright, looks like we're just looking for more removal. No. We'll take another Channeler too, maybe. I guess we go hand to Ragavan, bottom, exile, plan to block the Swifty, surveil. Seems like I'm gonna just graveyard that. And we have to attack with a channeler. Scary. They keep a card on top. And then they preordain into that card. Game 2. Down a game in our trophy league. I had more removal spells in an earlier draft. I think we're just cutting the Ragavans for fire magics. Yeah, I think so. The magics aren't great against them. They're okay. Ragavan just bad. Maybe Ragavan is better on the play. Fire magic is better on the draw. You know what? I think Ragavan on the play is actually just kind of fine. If they lava dart, it's not the end of the world, and you have a lot of ways to just. They have a lot of cards you like casting. Yeah, I think we'll do Ragavan play, fire magic draw. All right, keep this. I think I'm gonna lead on the channeler. I think I'm leading on channeler here. I'm not very likely to be sacking the clues for Tamiyo anytime soon. I guess leading on channeler is a little bit worse against dart, but I also don't mind if their first turn is dart, right? Maybe if I had red, like an extra red source, it would make more sense to go Tamiyo, so I could go channeler plus discharge next turn. But I'm also a little stuck on red. Hip hip with the 24 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Hip hip hooray. Yeah, let me just cast this amulet. Get my surveil trigger. Graveyard this, and then they have a spell pierce. We got spell snared earlier today by prowess, and it was wild. Is it worth to splash white for Wrath of Skies and sideboard? In this deck, absolutely not. It's double white. It's like not very possible. So 3 cards in their hand after they do this. I think I'm gonna get a little greedy. Nice. Rewarded. I think I'm just gonna discharge this. Three cards in their hand. They've got a Steel Cutter and a Preordain. Gonna have a similar turn this turn, probably. One on top, one on bottom. 2 cards left over there, smacking me down to 14. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go Steel Cutter Ragavan this turn, and the next turn go Tamiyo Toon. Flip the Tamiyo. I know that they've got the Lava Dart. Well, wishing this Ragavan was a fire magic, I guess. So I can block the new token. They have no cards in their hand, but they do have the Fiery Islet. I'm going to be taking 6 in the air and 3 on the ground, so down to 5. Shout out Dolly Parton. Taking 9 damage down to 5. Alright, Tamiyo. Toon, make a cutter token. I guess I play the Scalding Tarn so I can surveil and hold up the snare. Not very likely that the like the cards that we could snare, like those are the cards we most want them to draw, with the exception of Iteration, I guess. And we're dead to Iteration anyways. Are we dead? So I can't snare this, right? If I go to 4 snare this, I go to 0. But I can just let this resolve. So now I can't crack the fetch. Oh no, so the trample off the monk token kills me. Okay. Oh wait, no, it didn't kill me because I could. Oh, sorry, I forgot about the. For some reason, I thought we're really dead this game probably, but sorry, I could have chump blocked the token. The problem is like we have to keep plussing the Tamiyo, and they have to draw nothing for like 2 turns. I guess that could happen. All right, let's get a 4-1 prediction going. And now it's like just good again, but it feels like not that much changed. I don't know if people just got bored or they under evaluated or what. So we beat Boros earlier. Let's see if we can keep that going. Let's play the Amulet here. Gonna wait on the tap since we wouldn't play a Bauble even if we flipped one. Combo back need to go fast. Maybe, but there's also like the weird dynamic where maybe like one thing was that the Boros matchup felt really bad, right? And now the Boros matchup doesn't feel as bad as it did. See if they're blue-white here, mono-white. Blue-white. Maybe I'm overthinking it. All right, a little late on the snare maybe. Also not usually very good for it to be this telegraphed. It might just be good for me to flip the Tamiyo here. I think I like that. I think that flip Tamiyo is really good against these kind of boards. What changed with the Boros Prowess matchup? I don't know if like the Boros players were. I don't know what changed. I don't know what changed. It seemed like maybe high noon is the big difference. Is that Boros players are playing a lot of high noons? Like it can't be it though. But it just did seem like Boros was really good against Prowess, and then now Prowess has the numbers that back up that it's been doing well against it. Last time Domain started picking up, Domain has a very good Prowess matchup. That's true. It's good to try to understand like what makes these metagame cycles happen, but I don't know. Domain Zoo is always just like in a very weird spot too. We've got a Guide of Souls, 4 other cards in their hand. Halia, interesting. So they gain 1 energy, 1 life, and then they're going to get a cat end of turn, which will let them draw a card off Halia. Do you ever do a blink list with both Shepherd and Overlord and Riddler? Is it too many blink targets? Well, Overlord just not. It's a Felia target, but it's not an Ephemerate target, which gets a little bit weird. It seems. But also, if you play Shepherd, you also have to play Guide and Pride. So it's just like that's kind of your whole deck at that point, which might be fine. Okay, I don't do this that often, but we do really need removal here. So I'm going to tap this and lose the snare. How do I get a removal spell? I guess we flip 1 here. Might just be going to game 2. We'll see. Yeah, probably the worst possible flip there. Gonna play the Fire Magics. Is it Fire Magic over Ragavan? Ragavan's a lot better against the blue-white affinity than it is the Boros affinity build. I think it's still not great. So there's a strict delineation from Bailmerk Guide Pride. Not necessarily, but to play Shepherd, Bailmerk Guide Pride, Ephemerate, Felia, that's your whole deck and you have no interaction and you're really slow, right? I think we're still cutting the monkeys. Dang. Sad. How many miniature ghosts has Prowess been on? Has Boros always been on Discharge and Prison? I guess maybe Boros was playing more prisons back then. Prowess should have always been playing 4 mutagenic ghosts, but I do think that there was maybe a time where they were playing less for some reason. Don't need to interact when you can infinitely replace Guide Pride. Oh, dang, Agalta. Yeah, exactly. I think I'll just fire this off. It's a bit weird. Since we have the fire magic, we could let it go for a little bit, but we're also stuck on mana, so we kind of need the to use our mana efficiently. Well, glad we drew this land. Losing prison made the storm matchup worse. Yeah, that's the thing is like, are we sure that Boros shouldn't be on as many prisons as they were? Like they were playing a bunch of prisons for a very long time, but then they just all cut them kind of together. So I guess I go hand, bottom, exile with the abilities to still get the Thundering Falls. Let's get it. I think the snare mostly is good against Felia. Maybe my opponent's good enough that they just main face Felia, but that might also play into fire magic anyways. Evolio, the tier 1, thank you so much. They've got the Riddler, they got the Ephemerate. We do have Delirium, so we can maybe find it in Unholy Heat. Tough game to multiply then. Kind of risky to play this Channeler out because we've got to find the blocker, but I think on our mulligan to 5 where we kept a 1-lander, we got to start like ripping iterations or unstable amulets to get out of this. So Boros cut prisons because they're bad in the mirror. The people just copy paste and decks evolve and never go back to what it might have worked a different meta. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I do think that the Boros gamers in general are so slow to adapt. But yeah, I will say that Static Prison is really bad against the blink stuff. So you could definitely think that that's a good reason to not be in on it. Thank you, learning mistakes. They grabbed the planes here, which is interesting. So they're holding up Ophelia, so we probably want to kick the fire magic. And then hold up Counterspell. Kind of weird to not snare the Felia. Oh, interesting. Okay. Mr. Tasty, 7 months. Excited to see you're not affected by AWS outages. Yeah, I guess I didn't hear anything about that. Usually things get really weird when that's happening. You know what? I think they have Felia. I think they're going to deploy it end of turn. Although I guess drawing this, we probably just need to go like this anyways. Well, I'm gonna, okay. I followed my instinct and that was wrong. That being said, I can also, if I get to counterspell anything, I still get the same token. Womp womp. All right, well, 3-0 to 3-2 stinks. Let's open our pity chest, I guess. We won to the challenge. We beat Affinity. We lost to Prowess. We lost to Storm. Bummer on the Izzet deck. Okay. Is it time to bust out the third deck? So I've been working on.